Right. We should, in theory, be going live. So hello and welcome. How's things? How has everybody's week been? How's life, the universe, and everything? What have you been up to? Yeah, hello. How's everybody doing? How's things? How has your week been? Mine's been busy, very busy. I've been just kind of, well, as you'll find out in a little update video tomorrow, um, been quite sort of on the busy side of things and uh, on the uh, that one. There we go. I was wondering why it wasn't working. That should be it. There we go. Hopefully. There we go. Right, now it's going out. Good. What a pain. Anyway, yes. Hello. How's everybody doing? How's things? Hello, Ajay. How you doing? How has your week been? Hello, Chris. How you doing? How's things? How has your week been? Mine has been very busy. I've got a little update video going out tomorrow, but my plan is to not post some videos for the next week or so, uh, because I am currently, like I've said before, I tend to run in advance, as in I tend to have sort of 3 to 6 videos done and ready to go out at any given point. And I, since the, since the Alder Lake launch, I have had no videos ready to go out, which means from a content creation perspective, it's actually really difficult for me to make videos because I'm so focused on rushing to get whatever the next one is kind of out and live, that I don't have time to then do my usual sort of multitasking where I can say be running some benchmarks for one video while writing the script for another, and then finishing that one and still be running benchmarks, or maybe start testing something else while editing a whatever. So it not having that time frame available is not very good for my mental health. So I'm gonna not post Monday or Wednesday, and possibly not Friday. We'll see. And that gives me some time to build up a little backlog again, and actually test some things more than like a couple hours worth of testing crammed in at midnight. And it should also then allow me to have some more sort of free time to work on this little thing, which is I've been working with Simon from TFT Central, and it's getting there. It's definitely a lot closer. I did a hardware revision, in fact, so slightly different PCBs instead, with a nice little V2 on the back instead of that. So yeah, that's that. But like I said, I got a little update video coming out tomorrow that will explain things nicely. Ajay, what's the best power supply for mining? Technically speaking, anything that's high wattage with enough graphics card connectors. You will generally struggle to find those though, So really, the highest wattage, the most PCIe connections, the better, I suppose. Still need to find a use for my ESP32. They are very handy little things. I am planning on basically my boiler doesn't have like my house doesn't have a thermostat, and it's um, really quite annoying. So I am uh, planning on at some point, whenever I have some time, to automate that by basically like all a thermostat is a relay. Uh, just basically just a switch that connects two connections, uh, like from the boiler. So I'm going to hook up a relay to an ESP32, and have the ESP32 connected to what you call it? Come on, brain. Home Assistant, and I'm gonna, or even just like a smart switch or something instead of the ESP32. But my intention anyway is to have the sort of start doing smart home, but with devices that I control myself, that don't need to phone home. So my intention is to set up Home Assistant, set up a both Thread and Zigbee sort of access point, if you like, and then I'll be able to control the things that I already have, and get new things that will then all integrate together with, well, no telemetry. What's it? Also, hello to Essentialist. Hello to Spencer. How you doing, man? How's things? Hello to Budget Bench. Hello, Luca. Hello, Yanni. Hello, Wap. And is that it? Oh, hello, Ish. There you go. How you guys doing? How's things? Where am I at? Nice one, Chris. Have you not shifted your old ones yet? Um, ba 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 ba. I'm asking for the best PSU brand. Probably Seasonic, if you can find any. Spencer, I've put your name down for an OpenReach trial for fiber to the property, basically more upstream. Sweet. I'm always down for faster internet. Thank you very much. What was you? Did you say another one? No. Whether they will do the trial in your ear is another thing entirely. Fair play. Well, thank you very much. Otherwise, hello Stevanion. Hello, 4 Foot Hypnotized. How you guys doing? Most of these fiber to the property things only go to apartments. I use Home Assistant at my own rate NAS. I have fiber to the property. It's just there. And I am planning on using Home Assistant from my Unray NAS. Yeah, basically the plan is to, there's a Nordic Semiconductor, I think they're called, like NFR5 blah 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 blah, that is both a Thread and Zigbee like adapter, and so if I can make that work as both the Zigbee controller and router and the Thread border router, I can have it run all of those networks all from a single little USB stick, basically, that will just pass into Home Assistant, which inevitably will be just running in a VM or a container, something like that. So, yeah. Hello, Super User and or Vanlife UK. How you doing, man? Sorry to hear about your channel. I take it there's no what you call it, recovery process that you can go through there. I have a 5.4 gigabits router with a Cat6 cable, but the local FTP uh, uh, what are you FTPing from? But the answer is as much as you want, really. Like there isn't a peak FTP speed in Windows or anything. I'm honestly not sure that Windows natively supports FTP. You normally need something like FileZilla to do FTP. Yeah. Sold one this week. Nice. Essentially, so you're telling me that you don't want Bezos to know how many times a second you turn your thermostat on? Yeah, no, I'd prefer not to. I mean, that's not exactly overly useful information, but with enough data, you could say market things to me, or even if you had the right access, you could perhaps know when people aren't home because you can just look at their usage, like if the exterior temperature of their in that area, or even if they have an exterior temperature sensor is low, but their boiler isn't on and hasn't been on for the last, I don't know, couple days, you probably know that they're on holiday somewhere. Ba 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 ba. Working in this rented house during the day is chilly with 12 degrees Celsius in the house. Oh, that's no, to turn the heating up. Definitely. M1 Mac, the grown-up version of the Pi. Nice. We're using Toya too. Fair. I have seen the Toya stuff, but I would definitely prefer anything at home. Like, it's pretty much a criteria for me to have it be something that I can control, and it doesn't need to phone home or anything like that. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid, Luca. Hello Phil, how you doing, man? How's things? Hello Simon, how you doing? Hello John, how are you doing? Good timing. Um, I've just got farmed to the property again, 1 gig down. Nice, nice. I have, as Spencer was saying, I have what was it, 900 down, and 100-ish up. Although in practice it can vary actually. Um, Generally speaking, it's pretty good on download and upload. It's just, you know, comes and goes sometimes. Using my PFSense to block Toya calling home. Nice. Nice. File sharing between two computers using LAN achieves 20 megabytes per second of speed, but I have the proper gigabit cables. So first of all, Ajay, I would check that you're actually using gigabit. You're actually what you call it? You are if you go to Windows, if you go to the network and sharing center in the control panel and click change adapter options, and then click on your Ethernet adapter, right click properties, it should tell you what connection speed it is running at. If it's running at 1 gigabit, all good. More than likely, it sounds like you're running at 100 meg rather than 100 gig, 100 megabit instead of 1000 megabit. It could be slow between drives, but 20 megabytes per second, unless you're copying from one USB, like if you're copying from or to a USB 2 drive, then yes, quite possibly. But if you're copying from literally anything else, even a USB 3 drive, 20 is a bit too low. Chris, thank you for sharing those links. You did technically share a PC Part Picker affiliate link, though. It's alright. Is an X570S motherboard worth getting? If you don't have a board, like if you didn't have an AMD board and you were buying like a new board or a new system, it's certainly not bad, but I think it's a very specific use case for why you would buy X570S or not over B550. And that specific use case is a whole lot of I/O, a whole lot of fast I/O specifically, but otherwise doesn't. For the average gaming system with 1 or 2 SSDs, a graphics card, and that's kind of it. You're not going to see much benefit from having a bit of extra. PCIe bandwidth to the chipset, basically. So I wouldn't be too worried. Like, it's cool, for sure, but yeah. Yes, Chris, that is my UK tag. Thank you very much. Hello, Harry. How you doing, man? How's things? Fourth doesn't support any more DirectX 12. Fourth what? 4th gen Intel? Not sure. Wanted to use it for Flight Simulator. Thought about upgrading my B550 ITX board. B450 ITX board. Got you. I can't say that I would be too worried about the difference unless you're specifically unless you're specifically after more PCIe bandwidth. If you are going to change form factor and size, B550 is arguably a better value. Equally quiet chipset. Not that I ever heard the chipset fan on any of the X570 boards that I used, but still, that'd be my recommendation. Got back into cameras. Nice. Got a Panasonic S1. Didn't shell it for an i9 to edit videos, so got the M1 Mac, and it edits 6K with ease. Nice. Are you using Final Cut or Premiere? Can I keep my mining rig inside a 42U server rack with events? Will the vents be fast enough? Will the vents with fans? Jesus, I can't read. Be enough to keep it cool as it's kept outside. So enclosing it at all is going to be more heat intensive there. Like inside a chassis than outside, so it will likely run a little bit hotter depending on the configuration. With that said, from a space efficiency point of view, I think it's probably fine enough. A cheap Xeon from AliExpress versus i7, what you think about? Well, it depends which i7 you're talking about, what the price difference is there. Like a cheap Xeon from AliExpress, sure, you have potentially a better value for money. You do tend to also have what you call it, less reliability from a cheap Xeon from AliExpress, and you're also likely to there's a certainly a larger chance that you run into, you know, a fake chip that maybe doesn't have as many cores as it says it does or whatever else. So yeah, if you're talking about for like workstation use, then perhaps, maybe. If you're talking about gaming use, then definitely not. And yes, if you want just horsepower and value, the like a Ryzen chip is probably a better value than you would get with a cheap Xeon from AliExpress for the performance you would get as well, you know. Simon checking my other YouTube account. Nice. It certainly has changed, and well, your name's changed, and the S is the M is now an S. There you go. I used Wondershare on my i7, but it wouldn't touch the 4K, let alone 6K. I can't say that I've ever used. I assume that's Filmora. I don't know what sort of hardware acceleration it has. But yeah, fair enough. And yeah, the M1 Pro, or actually even just the standard M1, is already very impressive. So yeah, and Final Cut, it's hard to argue with the performance, if nothing else, for sure. Name doesn't have a badge next to it, and I've been subscribed for 4 to 5 months. Well, yeah, I assume what he's talking about is YouTube member, which is very strange that it's not letting you, like, it's not giving you a badge for either of your accounts. Well, saying that, does it even show up for me? There's apparently 5 total members. Sweet. It doesn't show up, show you as a member, Simon. We have Blingster, who's here. We have Ish, who's here. We have Chris, who's here. And we also have Thomas T and David Michael Piper. Oh, a patron. Oh, in that case, that's probably why, because it's the badges are the YouTube members rather than the Patreon members, as it were. 5 total members, that's at least 3 Tesco meal deals. God damn it. Oh dear. Yeah, if I could have it so that it links the patron Patreon you know patrons with YouTube accounts and badges and that kind of thing, I certainly would. I think especially since the what you call it? Come on, brain. Especially since they YouTube themselves have clearly launched their own version in the YouTube memberships. I imagine they wouldn't be very happy with that being a thing, but yes, I would certainly try. Good. I went to from a 1080 to a 3070 Ti Founders Edition, and now I have more frame dips for short periods in Overwatch, from around 180 to like 40 for about 5 seconds every now and again. Any idea why getting a better GPU without changing settings would give you sparse, randomized, prolonged frame dips in a game? So, I mean, PCs are fickle beasts. So that there's a great number of things. I would personally like shot in the dark recommendation, use a tool called DDU to remove your display driver fully. And then once you have wiped the driver, you can fresh install a new copy just to make sure that there isn't any trickery going on there, and that may help. It could also technically be a defective card. It might also be worth having a monitoring program open, like hardware info, or even something like MSI Afterburner with the graphs open, so that you can check between, while you're playing games, and make sure, especially once it does start to frame drop, that the things like the temperatures aren't through the roof, that the clock speeds haven't randomly dropped through the floor down to base or sub base. So you can monitor that kind of thing, and then I would go from there, kind of thing. I need a new NAS. I don't know whether to build my own or buy a Synology or QNAP. Building your own is obviously relatively easy. The pros are that you get better customizability, and you get generally a lot more sort of horsepower, whereas its downsides are often potentially overall costs, since you tend to, at least I do anyway, tend to go a bit sort of all in on oh, well, if I'm gonna do this, then I may as well put this CPU, and well, I could do with 32 gigs of RAM because of all of this, and the ZFS. I'll throw it all in. So that can be the case, and also obviously the complexity and of the initial setup, but also of the ongoing maintenance. Whereas the from a pre-built unit like a QNAP or Synology, you have much better sort of ease of use, and the updates, the sort of the maintenance, as it were, is generally either fully automated, or you click a button once every couple months and it safely reboots, does everything you need, all good, all sorted. So it's very it's easier at the cost of, sometimes cost depending which way you go, and what you call it, it is generally lower power, like lower performance from it. So if you want to do things like run Plex with GPU acceleration, or you want to run a VM from the NAS as well, then running it yourself or building it yourself is probably going to be a better option. Personally, I have both, although at some point I do kind of intend on consolidating it all down into just my other NAS, my Overkill NAS. Still probably having multiple shares, and I think they'll probably remain their own pools for the 3 different NASs that I have running at the moment, but they'll all be in one machine, all be running from the same Threadripper, all that jazz. So yeah. John, 2017 you reviewed the Asus RG Claymore, the original, not the Mark II, the one with a detachable numpad and with a volume wheel. Do you remember the one, and did you have issues with it afterwards? I have. So I do remember it. I also remember the Mark II, which is very similar, but I want to say that I didn't have it for overly long. Weirdly, keyboard samples, mice samples, especially headsets, but the majority of those things get sent and then never get collected. But this one was, in fact, in general, Asus is very picky on samples. Like they are all officially on loan, kind of thing, rather than no, that's yours to keep, whatever. but if I remember rightly, I only had that for a relatively short period of time, full stop. So I can't say, like, I've certainly not been using one for any length of time. So what issues are you having in particular? Found a second-hand one, not used at all. Has a weird issue of keys not registering or needing to be pressed hard. Solder points seem okay. Switches clean, latest firmware. Can't downgrade it. Advice. Yeah. That's a tough one. I would only assume then that either, especially if you found it secondhand but not used, that it might have just been defective from factory. They forgot to return it and have now sold it on, kind of thing. But is it hard or is it long? Oh dear. Do you have to hold the switches for a long time, or is it specifically that you have to hold them down firmly, or is it that you can hold them down, at normal pressure, but you have to hold them down for an extended period of time? How powerful is the EPIC processor? It depends which one you're talking about, but anywhere from, I want to say the lowest end one was 8 cores, all the way up to currently 64, with the newest ones, or the ones that are set to come out, I think some point next year, probably towards the end of next year, maybe even later than that, having either 96 or 128, depending on which version of set of chips you go with. Hello Joe, how you doing, man? How's things? Has anyone been mining Raptorium? No, I haven't. Like, I do have plenty of AMD, CPUs. In fact, I have a Threadripper, a 24-core Threadripper, no less. But no, I'm not. I'm not interested. Although I do need to keep warm this winter, so maybe. Nah, just what you call it? I would do graphics card mining if I was going to do any, because that's much better, both heat output and, I assume, profitability. You have to press harder, not keep them pressed longer. We'll try to add solder. We'll try to solder in new ones, though I have no proper tools at the moment. I believe it's a factory issue. Got you. In that case, yeah, it could just be the defective actual switches at that point. Perhaps if you can desolder them, but you don't have replacements, you can try disassembling the switch, because they should just be sort of clipped together, kind of thing. And then clean the contactors. I assume to some degree lube the switch. That might help. I don't know. And then you might be in luck. How much crypto mining in effect in GPU prices increasing? Christ. How much, how badly is crypto mining affecting graphics card prices? Currently, as far as I'm aware, it's not too bad. The profitability keeps varying quite a lot, so a lot of people, I would imagine anyway, a lot of people who were considering starting a little mining farm, or even expanding their current mining farms, are probably somewhat hesitant. It's not a very safe or sound investment. So, yeah. Would I make decent money with a 6900 XT, 1080 Ti, and 1080? Quite probably, although you'd probably want to underclock all of them because power consumption would be painful, especially on the 1080 Ti and 1080, because they're not the most efficient cards for mining. Not too bad. I'm a granddaddy at last. Nice. House is overrun with baby stuff. Fair. You've been up to much good this week? I have been absolutely swamped. I've been well, trying to keep up with making videos, and I've also been doing this thing. I actually sent a replacement unit to Simon from TFC Central as the first unit. I had basically, in fact, actually, these are the wrong capacitors. Those two up there. I need to swap those out on this board, but I've just been using this for firmware testing and validating settings and things. So I swapped those out, and I've been sort of fixing bugs and making the processing as accurate as possible. Although luckily or happily, it now looks like the results that are coming off of the sensor, or more specifically are coming off of the board, are now at least seemingly pretty spot on for what he's seeing with his fancy oscilloscope and fancy sensor as well. So yeah. This week must not have been good since there's no poll. Well, there wasn't one last week either. I kind of somewhat forgot. But yeah, it's also not been fantastic. Nice one. Fair play, Chris. Fair play. Reason to go to uni, start a mining farm. Oh dear. As always, if I miss anything, feel free to post again. I am occasionally, and by occasionally I mean rather constantly slow to keep up. There we go. Yeah. As I was saying at the start, I've got a little update video coming out tomorrow, but the long story short is that I am planning on, when I say taking next week off, I don't mean from working, of course not, that'd be crazy. I mean from posting videos, so there won't be a video on Monday, Wednesday, or possibly Friday, I'm not sure. Which one is that? Yeah. I think yes, that's the one. And then hopefully I will be back the week after to back to usual. Need to send Andy a Christmas package of nose candy. Oh dear. No. I assume Blinkster. There isn't always. Sometimes there is, but not today. Got a wireless line for the GH5. Nice. Rode shotgun was okay, but in the workshop it just picked up a load of echo. Yeah, fair. Lav mics do a lot better of a job of not picking up echo, being a lot more subject sensitive, as it were. I mean, the Rode shotgun works well if you're close, but if you're longer distance away, then it's not as useful. Getting a new SSD soon, a Samsung 870 Evo, and I want to replace my old Kingston one. Also planning to replace the Kingston and do a fresh install of Windows 10 on the new one. Nice. How am I going to format the Kingston one with the old Windows though? So if you're replacing your old SSD, but you want to know how to, I assume, wipe, like clear the old drive before, like before you've replaced it. Yes. So that would be a what you call it? Come on, brain. As long as you have all of the data backed up from your current drive, you can wipe the drive before you take it out. So can I confirm what system you're using? Like, are you swapping this SSD out of a laptop or out of a desktop PC? Because if it's a laptop, then your concern is, valid, as it were. But from a desktop, you can almost always just hook up the Kingston drive as well as the Samsung one, and as long as you specifically pick which one to what do you call it? My brain. Which drive to boot from, which you can normally do with F12 on some BIOSes, F8 on others, but the boot menu, as long as you pick the right one for it to boot from, or even just press delete until you get into the BIOS and then select your Samsung drive as the hard drive BBS priority, the boot priority. And then you can just format it from Windows, or if you're really careful, you can format it from your BIOS as well. Sometimes. Ow. Are you going to do a Christmas buyer's guide for tech people? I certainly could. It's not on the cards at the moment, but I'll think about it. Tech buyer's guide. Just get anything you can and just be happy with it. Yeah. I think that the thing with cars is that there is a lot of things that are pretty inexpensive, that are easy to purchase, and that they, like, people might not already have, or even are sort of consumable items. Like I mentioned, the like sort of cleaning supplies kind of thing. Those are consumable items. You go through, you use it, you sort of damage your microfiber towels. So that is it's a relatively easy thing to replace there. Whereas in the tech world, pretty much everything that we have here is expensive. You also often already have a thing. There's also often a lot more preference involved. So, for example, a gaming mouse is something that actually could, depending on which one you're looking at, be in the sort of price range of a standard gift, if you like. The trouble is that there is such a variety and such a personal preference to it that it would be very difficult to recommend that someone buy their loved one a gaming mouse because you might hate it. And also, especially for non-tech people, like for cars, it's easier. You know, it's easy to say like this is the you know, here's a tool, here's a like whatever. There often sort of isn't the right one kind of thing, but there is in the tech world, you know, like PC components. There's definitely a right one you need, and even in things like peripherals, like keyboards and especially mice, you know, if the person plays more FPS games, or maybe they prefer mobile games instead. There's a difference in, you know, those mice. Maybe they really want wireless. Maybe they really don't want wireless. You know, whatever. And so it's kind of difficult to balance those factors, as it were. Haven't cleaned my car for at least 3 years. What is this cleaning word mean? Yeah, I don't clean mine very often. I take good care of it mechanically, but you know, appearance wise, anything exciting coming up for at the wheel? Well, I've heard that a Peugeot 308 might be coming up. GT line, no less. So that, although like I said, I'm probably going to take next week off from posting videos there as well. Hello, Michael. How you doing, man? How's things? A top tech tip: wait for Boxing Day and snap up a bargain. People sell their older cards. Do you know what? If anyone is getting a graphics card for Christmas, GG is all I can say there. But yeah, fair. Did you notice an impact of Brexit on PC hardware? It's I suppose, as Chris said, specifically with PC hardware, it's very difficult to discern what you know, what factors are causing what kind of thing. So I can't say yes, a certain yes there, at least for PC hardware. Nice one, Joe. Fair play. Money is the key to the world, indeed. Yeah. What you like. What have I have a mini LED monitor in. It's one from AOC. In fact, it's the one that went to I went to Valencia, one of the 3 main AOC like Aegon Pro monitors that they were showing off there. It's the AG274QXM. Weirdly, my unit seems to have the backlight strobing mode locked on, which is really annoying because it means that I can't use my response time tool to check the response time of this monitor, because the backlight is strobing on and off like a sine wave, and it's kind of difficult to pick the, you know, sort of flat line to flat line when it's all sine waves. Any rumors about wireless G502 without RGB that runs on AA batteries, kind of like the G603? I can't say that I've heard about that, but I also haven't heard, like, Logitech haven't even, like, I don't know which PR company Logitech uses anymore, they seem to switch every like 6 to 12 months, and they never let me know. So it's like I basically I've been reviewing. Oh Jesus, it's been a long time. I've been reviewing tech, you know, here for 10 years in February, which is stupid. But in those 10 years, I think I've spoken to like at least 10 different PR people and specifically agencies, and it's normally, you know, you work really well with one for like 3 months, and then when you go to follow up with them about some new product they've launched, you get told that, you know, like, you just get ghosted, or more uh, occasionally you get told that sorry, we don't cover Logitech anymore, and then you go, okay, who does? And they go, we don't know. So then you just don't speak to them for a year and a half. Cycle repeats. Everyone should go back and watch his first videos. Oh god, no. I mean, you can if you want. Like, you are welcome to do so and to laugh at me. But I wouldn't recommend it unless you like cringe. And I know I don't. So ba, 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 ba. Doesn't have to specifically be hardware. Maybe things like best desktop speakers, or upgrade monitors, built-in ones, or an Oya, Ouya off eBay to stop monitors from leaning over. Nice. Think of the watch time and the views, all 14 of you. Here's a different question for you. What are your tech predictions for 2022? Do you think anything big will happen? Not including COVID-22. Well, hope not. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, so the product map shows AMD should be launching at least one, if not potentially two sets of CPUs. And I think that's going to be very interesting to see how that stacks up against Alder Lake. If I remember rightly, Intel is on track to launch Raptor Lake 13th gen late next year. Like towards the end of next year, like basically a year from now, or a year from about a month ago. And that is what you call it? So I think that's going to be a very interesting and sort of competitive space. In terms of the graphics card world, I can't imagine, like, there's rumors that Nvidia might be looking to launch more cards or a new generation relatively soon, but honestly, with the demand that they have right now, I'm not sure why they would bother, if I'm honest. Not that I wouldn't want to see that, I would, but again, it's I'm not sure that the economics would line up such that that makes sense for them to do just yet. So yeah, I mean, obviously can't see the future, and especially with what you might call more emerging technologies. There's I can almost guarantee you that there will be some sort of new fad or new technology of some kind that might pop up and change things around a bit. But I think the biggest thing that you'll probably see in 2022 is more companies offering a wider range of products, and more specifically, probably a range of products that all integrate with each other. I think everybody wants to basically be able to sell you everything, right? Like if you look at, well, Corsair kind of started it because they started off as things like memory and CPU coolers, but they now are offering you monitors. Because they own Elgato, they are now offering you all of your streaming hardware. They offer you keyboards and peripherals. They offer you not only your CPU cooler and your your memory, but your SSD and a variety of other things. Razer's jumping into that market as well, and like every manufacturer I can think of is expanding their portfolio. Even AOC, who's a monitor manufacturer, is making keyboards and mice and headsets now because they want to own, like they want to sell you not only the monitor but also everything else that's on your desk. And so that's that. And yes, Corsair do own Origin PC, so they're selling you an entire system, and they also make their own systems as well. So that's an option. But even if you look at someone like MSI, right? They sort of started, I suppose, with things like motherboards and graphics cards, but now they make monitors and they make all of the peripherals. They make SSDs as well as the motherboards and graphics cards. They make CPU coolers and power supplies. Like, I think RAM is maybe the only thing I haven't seen from them, but I wouldn't surprise me if they do have some models of RAM available. So they are looking to sell you, one of everything kind of thing, right? And Gigabyte's the same actually. They also will sell you even cases and power supplies. Not that many people would currently want to buy one of those. So yeah, I think that sort of consolidation and connectivity is probably going to be the overarching trend in the gaming tech world anyway. Yeah. That's my take. Oh, the Aubrey Chroma video, God. Oh dear. Like, it's not the absolute worst thing on the internet, but it isn't far from it. The only way for companies to survive nowadays seems to be multi-marketed, have lots of fingers and lots of pies rather than just one. MSI don't do RAM. They tell you to buy Corsair, and in return, most Corsair built PCs use MSI motherboards. Well, there you go. There you go. But yeah, they're not far off, clearly. Like, those sorts of deals happen quite a lot. Where things like system integrators will partner with a manufacturer like Asus or MSI or Gigabyte, and they will almost exclusively sometimes have like sell their systems with just those parts. Like they won't let you pick a non-MSI motherboard if they're an MSI partner kind of thing. And in return, they give the system integrators a better deal on all of the hardware, so that the system integrators are paying less per unit sold than they would otherwise. And the motherboards have Corsair RGB headers on them. That's true. Anyone got any experience with the Razer Enki chair? I'm afraid I haven't. But if anyone else does, feel free to shout. Fair play. Any recommendation for an SSD? Is 1 or 2 terabyte worth getting? Do you notice the brands are swapping parts? So which SSD should I buy? Obviously, good question. Generally speaking, honestly, the Sabrent drives have been doing pretty well for me in terms of both value, performance, and general reliability. So I can't say that that's a bad shout. And as far as I'm aware, they haven't swapped many or potentially any, although I can't verify that for sure. That's not that they tend to be pretty consistent with as Chris says, companies like Samsung, SanDisk / Western Digital, because they're the same whatever, that is a good option as well. The Western Digital SN, I think it's 750, is not too bad as well. Yeah, fair play. With that said, that is our usual hour. So I will catch you guys possibly next week. I haven't I suppose decided, as it were, if I'm going to stream next week or not. I'll think about it and I'll let you know on Twitter and on Discord. Anyway, but yeah, have a good week. Stay safe, and I'll catch you at some point. Bye, guys.